Tonight on Let It Rip, a bank collapse causes dismay for depositors. The president scrambling to reassure Americans.
Americans can rest assured that our banking system is safe.
So is the president's spending to blame, or is it more complicated than that? Republican presidential candidate Johnson and civil rights activist and Democratic strategist Greg Bowens dive in. But first, more money headed toward District Detroit, but critics say developers don't deserve it because they didn't keep their promise.
You said you were going to build affordable housing. You didn't do it. What makes us think they're going to do it this time?
So better late than never, or too little too late? The debate starts now. Time to let it rip. Pastor Maurice Hardwick, also known as Pastor Mo, is here, as well as the founder and director of Detroit is Different, Khary Frazier. We thank both the gentlemen for being here today. Two sides of the coin. Khary says, hey, nothing wrong with development, but on whose backs are we doing this development on? And Pastor Mo says, hey, man, this is good news for the city of Detroit with all the investment. So let's talk about it. 12,000 new construction jobs, $750 million over the course of 35 years into the city of Detroit, back into the coffers, helping people in the city of Detroit. Khary, you say there's more than meets the eye when it comes to this project. Why are you opposed?
I mean, to use tax incentives, tax abatements, even tax captures that we're finding out more for a project like this, it's just not going to be profitable. Like when we look at really the foundation of Detroit, it's the $5 workday. In Henry Ford book, My Life, My Work, he doesn't say that, hey, the key to my success was a tax abatement. The key to the success was creativity, innovation, and betting on himself. I believe if this is a good investment, the investors need to bet on themselves and not the city of Detroit, which has been betting on projects across the board for so long. We have casinos that are getting tax abatements. That's ridiculous.
Corporate welfare is what many people are calling it. Perhaps Khary would call it that. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but Pastor Mo, when you look at this, there are some people who say, wait a minute here. The city is yet to reimburse Detroiters $600 million for being overtaxed, and here we are putting money into this project instead. Should we be addressing that problem first?
Well, I call it go time. It's time to go. It's time to build. If you look at Chicago, Detroit has been doing a lot of work downtown, but it's in the infancy stages of what it needs to be in terms of our skyline, and it's time to build. It's not tax abatement. It's not tax avoidance. It is incentive, just what it is. And when you look at the history of that, it was the mayor that we loved the most, the man with the plan, Mayor Coleman Young, who brought that plan into Detroit with the hopes to make sure that we build Detroit and to bring revenue that would also be in development to the inner city. It was an exchange, and Mayor Duggan is wisely taking that same approach to get the state money to build in Detroit and to build Detroit up in every single way possible. I love this program.
All right, but when you take a look at this program, we're talking about some people are very worried about the future, including what happens when the property value around that area starts rising because you start building these apartments, these restaurants, these sky risers, and then at the end, Khary, people are afraid they're going to be pushed out of the neighborhood. You think that's a real concern? Most
definitely. Even when we look at what's happening now, we have two tax rates and two realities that have been going on for forever. The statutory tax rate is very high in Detroit, like 0.861 mil. And then when we look at the effective tax rate of Midtown and downtown, they're paying 1/4 or 1/2 of that at best. So we've done this and it has not changed anything. If you really want to do business, bet on yourself. Go into your own bank account and then spend that money, because this is just going to be ridiculous. More burdens. I'm a person that owns property and I pay taxes. I do fairly. I'm doing business on my own back and my own money. So I feel like every other family across the board should be doing that the same way.
We talked to the folks at Olympia. They say they had hundreds of community meetings with people who live in that area, people who live in the city of Detroit. And at the end, they had a neighborhood council who voted 8-1 yes to the benefit plan. How do you argue with the people who live around that area who voted and are members of the community?
I mean, look, we can look at all of this, and I look at it like it's rhetoric, it's propaganda. I mean, I can do a survey and I can pick some people to be in the room, because the people really in the room are the people that are legacy Detroiters that have been here for forever and have not received the benefits of projects like this coming and imposing what, some people say is corporate welfare. This is corporate colonization. It's industrial gentrification.
Pastor Mo?
Well, Khary, I think that, $350 million is not nothing to sneeze at. I believe that's betting on yourself. I also believe with the things that's wrapped around the initial investment, I would call it betting on Detroit. That's what they're doing. They're betting on Detroit. And you got to really look at the whole plan, look at the whole thing. You got to look at Detroit. See, as an activist / pastor who's out in the streets, for real in these streets, working step to step with the police, and I see the heinous crime. I see the hopelessness of our young people. I see the way Detroit mothers is in fear because they're sitting around with nothing to do, and they're not skilled trade. Olympia, District Detroit, is now investing. They have already invested over, I think, 1,000 construction jobs and apprenticeship, 20,000 people.
12,000 new construction jobs, right?
No.
So that's a lot.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But it also had been a previous investment for apprenticeship of over 1,000 people that is in apprenticeship.
But Pastor Mo, how does that help when you build all this stuff up? You're talking about the apprentice jobs, and I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But when you build up around the area where Little Caesars Arena is, how are you helping those moms and dads in the neighborhoods that don't feel like they're getting the effects of the corporate benefits that Little Caesars is putting down?
And that's why I'm here, because what we're going to do this time, we're going to make sure that as any, first of all, the prices are going to be affordable income there. It's going to be the job market. And we got to look at, we got to quit crying about welfare and quit crying about, scary taxes and inflation. Everything's going to always go up. But with that going up, the pay rate's going to go up and the job placement's going to go up. We're going to get them those jobs that have the great taxable income that can afford those places.
Khary, 12,000 new construction jobs, and then after that, thousands of jobs that then sustain that area after that. Is that good enough?
No, I'll tell you what should happen. We should take this same money and move forward what California's doing. This should be in reparations, because the greatest crime America has ever done is to my people, black people. All of these people, when we think about these situations, go on the backs, and you can tie back to what happened from Freedmen's Acts and so much more. This should be a fund for reparations. California's doing it. Other cities are moving forward. And we actually have a task force led by the great Joanne Watson, been a member of Encrober. This is the place of reparations rate. Instead of giving money to white billionaires, give it to us, because we're owed that and it's only right. Repair that. And all of those people, we'll make our own businesses, make our own developments. We will move how we need to move instead of waiting for a handout that is given to a billionaire that's been given handouts.
Pastor Mo, there's $600 million right now that's owed to the residents to be reimbursed for being overtaxed. People are saying, wait a minute, you're doing $800 million in publicly funded subsidies. Why not give the $600 million to the Detroiters who are owed that money anyways?
Well, see, that's I'm not here for that, because I had nothing to do with that. I don't even know a whole lot about that. It's people that say it's on both ends of that say it's old. Some people say it was other things. I'm focusing on right now. See, I'm not crying over spilled milk. I want to know what's going to be on the table for now, for Detroiters now. And there's too many people in the parking lot pumping their fists and walking away with nothing. Our kids have nothing. So they come from hopelessness. That starts with running the streets, gunplay, murder rate, and if it ain't safe in Detroit, it's not, no business can get done when it's safe. That's why Mayor Duggan has got the great plan of Shot Spotter and Shot Stoppers. We're going to take that program of Shot Stoppers and go out and get those same kids and turn shooters into now apprenticeship or skilled tradesmen and build this city up the right way.
I do have to ask you, Khary, when I said the neighborhood council voted 8-1 yes on this benefit package, the benefit package says, hey, not only are we going to build these buildings as the Ilitch family is going to do, they say on top of that, we're going to be pumping millions of dollars back into the city, including $1 million right for Cass Tech and their football field. You talk to a young man on the Cass Tech football team, you find out $1 million is coming from any corporation. Is that corporate welfare, or is that doing the fair thing and giving the benefits?
It certainly is. The Ilitch family has been here for generations, definitely my whole lifetime. And really in the past couple of years, the Ilitch family, Little Caesar, has grown to the biggest pizza company in the world. Mr. Ross is number 52 on the Forbes list. If you really want to conduct business, spend your own money. I mean, even our former president that doesn't like paying personal taxes definitely pays his property taxes on all those golf courses where he makes most of his money. So let me finish this.
Wait. Right now, as the land sits right now, it makes $275,000 a year on their land, five places. With this deal, you're going to have over $21 million a year, over $700 million in total with the deal. With wraparound services, it's going to build schools, schools, it's going to bring education, it's going to bring jobs, it's going to bring fair housing, it's going to bring libraries.
Okay, so it's going to
What more do you want? What more do you want?
It's going to benefit the community.
I want to go.
Why is that an issue?
I want to go, Detroit.
Pastor Mo, one moment. Khary, go ahead.
Little Caesars Arena, they went on and said, okay, we'll just go on and pay the fine instead of finding the workers because they said they couldn't find the work. Because we've given them the chance.
Did you go out there and help find anybody find any jobs? Did you go out? Did your organization go out there and help find young people get an apprenticeship?
If they did it before, they'll do it again. And we would be fools to believe that it would be different.
I'm making a statement right now on this TV.
We'd be fools to believe it would be different.
I'm making a promise that I would be deeply involved with going out finding young Detroiters to get in this program, apprenticeship, to get these jobs.
And Khary, haven't the trades in the last 8 years, I mean, this was 10, 11 years ago when they said we're going to find a certain number of people who are Detroiters to do the work. They paid the fine for not doing that, and they're saying that's not going to happen.
You just can't skip over that.
But Khary, let me ask you a question.
They did it once. They should.
But
they're
Khary,
looking like they'll do it again.
in the last 6 or 7 years, the new Gordie Howe International Bridge and many other projects, because of the trades, the carpenters unions who are working with Detroiters to bring Detroit talent to those projects. Why do you doubt that that's going to happen here?
Like I said, we need to infuse that work where the profitable people want to do business. And a lot of stuff is slanted. If you always need a handout to get going, corporate welfare as people label, it's not real business. Let's get real business going.
Pastor Mo, I do have to ask you this. 10 years ago, Olympia said, we're going to build affordable housing right there. People waited 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 8, 9, 10 years, and nothing. To Khary's point, why should Detroiters who are watching suddenly trust this business?
Well, because we got signed agreements. It's not just something they're saying. City councils is putting them through the ringer. They signed the agreements before. No. I'm at the meeting. I'm at City Council. I was at the community neighborhoods agreement. They putting them through the ringer. They want things signed. Let me say this. Let me ask you this, Khary, because you're an intelligent black man who I love, right? Would you agree to partner up hand in hand with me to go out and get our young nieces and nephews to get these jobs and come out of the streets? That's something we can do. Would you really do that?
Would you partner with me to get reparations for our people that are grown across the board? And then we can have our own businesses and we will pay them fairly as we always have.
Do you care about our young black African American Detroiters? So let's work on that. But that's more important.
Reparations.
But Khary, so reparations on one end, but you're talking about 12,000 new construction jobs. If you know for a fact that the majority of those are going to be Detroiters, would you be on board and happy with the fact that young Detroiters are getting that work?
Look, the only reason why I push back on that is because the Illiches and Ross, I mean, these people are already in development. They already have enough projects. They can show good faith now by hiring those 12,000 people today. But the reason they're not is because they're using that as the incentive and the cloak behind. You know, it's a sleight of hand trick that we have to incentivize these billionaires to do business. They're already doing business with builders, construction people, marketing people, all the people that they say they're going to hire to this project.
Don't cut your nose despite your face. Don't cut your nose despite your face. You got to be careful about trying to push people into this. And this, they have a right. This is America. They have a right to build and to do business.
I agree, with their own money, not with my tax dollars.
But Khary, there are other projects out there that are publicly funded with subsidies.
Free enterprise.
And we know that there's a lot of electric car companies that are building. We know that there's GM plants, there are Ford plants. Many of them have subsidies. Why is this so different for you?
Oh, it's completely different because we look at the position of Detroit. We even look at the infrastructure. I mean, the sewer lines, the waterways, it's so many other things that could be better well spent. And I really say we really need to support the reparations task force. That's where the money needs to go. And then when you sew that up, we'll make so many great businesses.
Will you make sure that this company is held accountable for the projects that they're dedicating and this is passed?
Look, it's me and it's so many others. We think about the Detroit People's Platform. We think about Riverwise, the Bog Center. We think about Yusef Shakur, the Mama Akua House. We think about everything Kwasi Akwamu, Tawana Honeycomb Petty. It's so many activists, boots on the ground that are not falling.
Pastor Mo, about 15 seconds
left. And those
left.
same people have worked step by step with us on the streets. And I'm going to say this, what Mayor Duggan in the city is doing right now is great. People got to stop being so mad about him being a white man. We're about who the right man. Let's get business done. He ready to work.
Pastor Mo, it's good to see you. Khary, I appreciate your time. Thank you for having this discussion with us. You reflect a lot of what people are feeling on the other side of that camera. It was helpful to have you both on. Still ahead, 2 banks collapse, prompting investor anxiety. Should the finger be pointed at President Biden, or is there more to the story? Some blaming what former President Trump did. The debate rolls on. Next. Back now, let it rip. Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank both collapsed, and the takeover by regulators caused huge anxiety on Wall Street. So who's to blame, and how do we move forward? And should we be worried? Republican presidential candidate Khary Johnson and Democratic political strategist and public relations guru Greg Bowens both here now with a look at what they think. We're going to begin, though, with a topic that I think everybody's talking about in this state, the right to work that was repealed by the Democrats just now in the legislature. You're happy about it. Khary Johnson, I want to talk to you about it as well. And I'm going to begin, Greg, with you. The Republicans out there who instituted right to work back in 2012 said, hey, this is going to help make business more competitive in the state of Michigan. And they say because of it in the last 10 years, they were able to incentivize and bring more businesses in. You disagree with that?
Of course. It's like, that's baloney. Everybody's looked at the studies. There's been no new businesses that have come here and said because, hey, Michigan doesn't have right to work. What they do look for is an educated workforce. What they do look for is the opportunity to invest in lower taxes and stuff like that. The ability to unionize or not unionize has not been like the straw that broke the camel's back or the deciding factor in all of this. And the other thing is that Democrats looked at this as not just a repeal of right to work, but as an opportunity to expand worker protections, which is a big deal. Last time we were on here, we talked about this, and we talked about the changing economy and a changing workplace and the rules that change along with it. Many people are sitting at home right now and they're at work because they work remotely, and so we need to have modern day rules that address this. And I think that this bill starts in that area to address a changing workplace and getting rid of the right to not work. The right to work, according to many Democrats out there, Khary, it harmed workers' wages and it took away their rights. What do you think?
Well, in fact, we had this interesting discussion. He says he doesn't believe in freedom. I believe in freedom. And I think that in the event,
I didn't say that. What are you talking about?
Well, they were having a discussion during the break. But Khary, what do you think? Did right to work? Did right to work harm workers' wages and take away their rights?
The reality is that I think people should have a right to decide whether or not the union is a benefit to them, and not coerced and said, okay, the union doesn't do anything for me, but they're going to charge me anyway. I obviously think unions play a tremendously vital role, and I do think unions have done a lot of good. I'm just saying that I believe in freedom, and I do think that people should have a right to choose whether or not they want to belong to the union. And wait, the unions have plenty of time and opportunity to sell them on why they should belong. They have plenty of time.
But they would say that they've proven that over the years. But wouldn't repealing right to work boost wages by forcing non-union bosses to actually compete with union wages?
How is that? I don't see how in any way it's going to boost wages per se. They already are negotiating as it is, and they can do what they want. Why coercing someone to be in a union? Does that even seem?
Greg, do you think this is unfair? Telling someone you have to be part of a union?
Yeah, I think it's unfair telling me that I got to buy auto insurance. I think it's unfair telling me that I got to have health care insurance. I think it's unfair. I can go down a whole list of things that we are compelled to buy by the government. Forced to buy by the government to be a part of. And what's unfair is making people pay to be, making everybody else pay for somebody to be represented who doesn't want to be represented. They just want to get the cheap way out.
Does this make Michigan less attractive to businesses who are thinking about coming here?
It makes it better attractive because what it means is that we all understand where we stand when it comes to our working conditions. You get to negotiate. It's not willy-nilly. We say, hey, show up at this time, do this kind of work with these kind of safety protocols, and we're all good.
Khary, is this a deterrent to business?
I'm going to ask you, do you want to come to a state where they say they're coercing you to join a union? We're not going to let you make a choice. You have to do it. Now, the reason that we have insurance and we have to do that is because you're going to damage someone. You're going to hit them, maybe kill them. We want to have a position where if you do something like that, they indeed are going to get an ability to pay for whatever damages occur.
No, we used to settle that stuff in small claims court and all that stuff before they legislated that it was insurance. You speak like a true billionaire. Let's create a captured market where the money's going to come in. That's what insurance does. But when it comes to right to work, let's look at what happened. When Snyder said, oh, I really don't want to do this, and they repealed it, right? they made right to work.
Right.
There were thousands, tens of thousands of people at the Capitol protesting it. You know what happened when we repealed this ridiculous right to work law? Nobody showed up.
Well,
it was crickets, Perry. Crickets.
There's a video from 2012. I was there as well, covering that. It was a big deal as well. All right, so let's talk about the other big deal right now that affects everybody, and I'm going to talk about the bank crisis here.
Oh, yeah.
Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank both deal with this huge crisis, and in the midst of it, a lot of people at home are first of all saying, "Are we safe? What's next?" Do you think that we're actually is our cash safe right now in the bank that we currently have it in?
Well, obviously, we put ourselves in a precarious position because we spent so much money. We spent all this money, put all this money into the economy, and it caused prices to go up. I don't think anybody's going to deny that we have inflation. If I go and spend $4.50 to $5 for a dozen eggs, I think that's.
But Perry Johnson didn't in 2008, 2009. Then President Obama saw the bank collapse and said we have to have regulations in place to make sure this doesn't happen again. And of course, then was instituted the Dodd-Frank piece in there. And then in 2018, President Trump comes along and repeals it. And a lot of people are saying this is squarely on his shoulders that he repealed this piece that should have protected us from dealing with the situation in the first place.
If they kept the same thing in, it wouldn't have changed things because they were looking at capital that they had. They had plenty of capital. That isn't what happened. They had plenty of capital. And it's just capital requirements. The thing that happened with Silicon Valley is they are like the evil Knievel of banking. You have a situation where when you raise the interest rate on something, it causes huge damage to bonds. They invested in bonds, and the bonds that they invested in lost their value. So that when people wanted to pull it out, they then had to convert things that were now worth much less. See what happened in our actual bond. The 2-year bond was over 5% just like a week and a half ago. Now, the 2-year bond is now literally it's now lost roughly 22% of its value. That means that value of that bond, if they have to convert it, is a killer.
Record inflation, the reason for trouble, many people say, is record high inflation, massive inflation. Then the Fed ends up raising the interest rate. And because of that, at the end, you have the slashing the values of investments in bonds. And next time that happens, Greg, a lot of people are saying, stop spending. What is up with this checkbook that the president has in his hands? Spending more than $5-6 billion. Is that the reason? Is that the reason, Greg, for this?
You know what? All right,
for part of the reason for this.
Right. Yeah. You know what, Rube? You know, a lot of people, most of the viewers out here that are watching us right now and are fans of yours and fans of Let It Rip, they don't have $251,000 where they have to worry about that $1 not being insured by the FDIC at Chase Bank. Most people don't have $250,000 in there. What my good friend here, Perry, is talking about, and what he's leaving out is that SVB, you're right, they were Eve Knievel, but they invested most of the money that new money that they got in Silicon Valley in long-term stocks, and that's where they took the bath. You know, you know this as well as anybody else. Our banking system and our economic system is based on confidence. And we have the confidence.
I want you to finish your point at final thoughts. Keep that thought in your head. When we return, we're going to take a look at some final thoughts. Stay with us.
What does right to work mean?
Right to work? I don't really.
Do you have a union here?
No.
New law would say if you work at a union shop, you have to pay union dues. Is that fair?
If the union is assisting you, absolutely.
To protect you. I don't really prefer unions. I like to work. I like to go to work and let work speak for itself.
Suppose the union works for you and you don't pay the dues. Is that fair?
Nah. It's unfair. You gotta pay to play. You gotta pay to play.
What's the most important thing about a union?
I think protection, somebody to have your back, somebody that kind of knows the ins and outs.
You know what you're working for. If they want to take their money, they're going to take it.
It's a tough question, isn't it?
It's a very tough question.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
Yeah.
That's what people think about right to work, but you want to talk about the banks? We've got about 10 seconds apiece. Perry, go ahead.
I think we need to stop inflation. To do that, we need to stop the spending. 2 cents to save America. That's my book. and I want to run for president because I want to stop all this nonsense.
He's already made the first step by stopping by Iowa. We'll see what happens. And thank you for joining us today, Perry. Greg.
Well, you know, we enjoy robust debates and selecting our leaders. You know, good luck to you, my friend. The Republicans aren't going to be able to help you.
Greg Bowens, Perry Johnson, good to see both of you. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Let It Rip.
Thank you.